Good morning. I'm KC Estenson, and I'm the general manager of CNN Digital. We had the good fortune of hearing from Ted Turner yesterday, where he talked about his regret of leaving CNN, and unfortunately, it's now stuck with me, and so are you. I do want to talk today about something that's very serious. Since we're here in Arizona, the obligation of a news organization is to maybe raise some of these points. Robert Frost said, "Good fences make good neighbors," and I'm asking a question to all of us today of, do they really? When we think about what's happening in our connected world, borders and national identity is maybe thought about in some parallels that were brought up yesterday morning. In many ways, we're more connected than we may think. By way of getting into this, it's probably best if I go back to my roots, where I was educated at St. Mary's College by the Christian brothers, maybe the cooler side of the order and Catholicism, skateboarding priests. We studied the classics, people like John Locke and Hobbes, the nature of what man is in his natural state. Is he good or is he inherently bad? Is life brutish, nasty, and short? These questions underpin what became our national identities. What rights do we give to a sovereign state when we think about our collection? And I would say that our national identity is being replaced by our digital identity, and that the obligations of a sovereign state are being passed now to some of these biggest brands, like Microsoft, when Gates was cool and young and hip, right? The friendly Microsoft before Ballmer, and there was an optimism there, right? There's an optimism to starting new enterprises. We had the same thing with Google, right? Before the efficiency and the algorithms, there was two guys in a garage with an idea about connecting the world and us through the world's information and data. The high order of design and technology, the crossroads of the liberal arts campus with the technology and engineering campus that's embodied by Steve Jobs and Apple. Right? And then, of course, you know, our friends down the road in Palo Alto, Facebook, right? The sort of fraternity system, if you will, right? What is the obligation of these companies? The social obligation. And by the way, I work at CNN, and we're not exactly clean on this either, because there's other media, right? Other media is represented maybe here by Murdoch and Disney and Time Warner and News Corp. We're all connected together in this universe. The speakers yesterday challenged us to underpin what I think is a social contract. We need to think of ourselves as a Jedi force, the Jedi Council, right? It's not to be Pollyanna-ish, but when we're connected against a common good and not fighting with each other, we are embracing an important element, because on the other side is this guy, right? Our citizenry. Unfortunately, due to the nature of this presentation, I cannot advance this slide fast enough. But I will say that citizens have rights. And so I ask all of us, not the leaders of these companies, but those of us here who are making the decisions in the middle, day to day, what is our social contract between those of us who are the Jedi Council and our society, our users? The first is freedom of speech, whether it's WikiLeaks or Craigslist or the events that happen in Tehran, where a government clamps down on freedom of speech, but our technologies enable people to get their messages out through cell phones and through YouTube and iReport. A society must also be free. It must be mobile. We must be able to port ourselves across these companies. That means I should be able to maybe use Flash on Apple devices, or that my Facebook identity can carry to Google, right? And safety and security. When we are in this digital universe, we should be free to know that we are safe and secure. And as part of that, I would also say, before all of this, we need easy, and I would argue free, access for all. There needs to be room on the train, and the train must be free so that everybody can get onto the internet in their own ways, right? We have an obligation to our citizenry to do this, and there's not meant to be an image behind this. We must be transparent, and we must be open, right? I must know what you're doing with my data and be able to opt in or opt out of what you are doing with my identity. So I put to you this challenge: can our actions rise to our desire of a better society in this digital world? Thank you.